In 1870, one man had nothing. By 1911, he owned everything. This is the story of John D. Rockefeller. John D. Rockefeller, the richest private citizen in all of human history. He was born on July 8, 1839, in Richford, New York, the second of 6 children in a modest farming family. His father, William, was a traveling con man, charming, absent, and unreliable. He sold fake cancer cures and disappeared for months at a time. His mother was the opposite, deeply religious and frugal. She drilled into John one belief: every penny is a gift from God. Spend it wisely. From his very first earnings as a child, John kept a meticulous ledger he called Ledger A, tracking every single cent he earned and spent. At age 16, he landed his first job as an assistant bookkeeper in Cleveland. He was so good at it, he demanded, and got a raise within months. Then came the spark that changed everything. In 1859, oil was discovered in Titusville, Pennsylvania, and America went mad. The oil market was pure chaos. Prices crashed from $10 a barrel to 10 cents overnight. Most men who rushed in were ruined within a year. But Rockefeller saw something no one else did. He wasn't interested in finding oil. He wanted to control what happened after it came out of the ground. In 1863, at just 24, Rockefeller invested in his first oil refinery in Cleveland with partner Maurice Clark. Within 2 years, he decided his partners were slowing him down. He called their bluff, bought them out for $72,500, and took full control. On January 10, 1870, John D. Rockefeller founded Standard Oil. He was 30 years old, and he was just getting started. His strategy was simple and brutal. Control the refining, not the drilling. Then control the transport, then control everything else. He secretly negotiated massive rebates from railroads. The more oil he shipped, the less he paid per barrel. His competitors had no idea why they couldn't match his prices. One by one, rival refineries collapsed. Unable to compete, they had 2 choices: sell to Rockefeller or go bankrupt. Most sold. When his secret railroad deal, the South Improvement Company, leaked in 1872, the public erupted in fury. Rockefeller didn't flinch. He simply waited them out. Through the 1870s, he absorbed refinery after refinery. By 1879, Standard Oil controlled 90% of all oil refined in the United States. To keep it all legal, Rockefeller's lawyer invented a new corporate structure. The trust, 40 companies, one secret master agreement, one man in control. Standard Oil's headquarters at 26 Broadway, New York, became the most feared address in American business. Rivals called it the Octopus. By 1880, Rockefeller was worth over $200 million. In an era before income tax, it was wealth the world had never seen concentrated in one man. He built his great estate in Pocantaco Hills, a sprawling mansion overlooking the Hudson River. But unlike peers, he lived modestly within its walls. He rose at dawn every day. He ate simple food, never drank alcohol, never smoked. He believed God had given him the gift of making money, and he had a duty to use it. Then a journalist named Ida Tarbell began digging. Her father had been ruined by Standard Oil. She wanted answers. She published a devastating 19-part expose in McClure's magazine, revealing every secret deal, every crushed competitor, every lie. The public was furious. Political cartoonists depicted him as a massive octopus, tentacles wrapped around the government, the courts, and every industry in America. President Theodore Roosevelt, the great trust buster, launched a federal antitrust case against Standard Oil in 1906. On May 15, 1911, the United States Supreme Court ruled unanimously. Standard Oil was an illegal monopoly. It had to be broken apart. The government shattered it into 34 companies. Many you know today: ExxonMobil, Chevron, Amoco, BP, America, all children of Standard Oil. And here is the irony of the century. Rockefeller owned shares in all 34 companies. As each surged on the open market, his net worth doubled. At his peak, Rockefeller's fortune equaled roughly 1.5% of the entire US economy. In today's money, over $400 billion. After 1911, Rockefeller retreated from business entirely. He gardened. He laughed. He lived quietly. For a long time, even before his greatest wealth, Rockefeller was giving. He tithed 10% of every PE check from his very first job, recording every donation in his ledger. In 1890, he donated $30 million that created the University of Chicago, now one of the world's greatest research universities. He called it his best investment. His Rockefeller Sanitary Commission wiped out hookworm disease across the American South, a parasite that had kept millions of poor children out of school for generations. In 1901, he founded the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research, the first biomedical research center in the United States. It pioneered treatments for meningitis, infectious disease, and cancer. His General Education Board funded schools across the country, transforming public education at a time when the federal government had no such program. Over his lifetime, Rockefeller gave away over $530 million, more than half his fortune. It remains one of the largest philanthropic campaigns any individual has ever undertaken. He became famous for carrying dimes in his pocket and handing them to children he met. He gave out thousands of them. He said, "A dime is the perfect gift, enough to matter, not enough to spoil." By the 1890s, this stress of running an empire had broken his body. He lost all his hair, stopped digesting food properly, and was said to subsist on crackers and milk. Doctors gave him little time. He ignored the prognosis. He retired, adopted strict routines. His body slowly rebuilt itself. He would live for another 40 years. For decades, Rockefeller was one of the most despised men in America. Mocked by cartoonists, condemned by politicians, he rarely responded publicly, believing his actions would speak louder. Late in life, he hired public relations pioneer Ivy Lee to reshape his image. The dimes, the golf games, the warm grandfather persona, all carefully constructed for the public. In 1913, he created the Rockefeller Foundation to promote the well-being of humanity. It still operates today, spending billions each year on global health and education. Despite his wealth, he worshipped at an ordinary Baptist church every Sunday for his entire life. He taught Sunday school. He saw his fortune as a sacred trust, not a personal prize. He raised his only son, John Jr., to carry on the philanthropic mission. Jr. would go on to build Rockefeller Center, restore Colonial Williamsburg, donating the land for the United Nations building. Rockefeller lived long enough to see the automobile transform America, powered by the same oil he had once monopolized. At 95, his birthday became a public celebration. Reporters gathered outside Kaiku. He waved from the porch, handing out dimes to the photographers. By 1937, his body was finally failing. He spent his last months quietly at his Ormond Beach home in Florida. John D. Rockefeller died on May 23, 1937, just 48 days before his 98th birthday. He had outlived most of his critics, his rivals, and his He left behind medical institutions, universities, and an entire modern oil industry. Companies he founded still power the world. Institutions he funded still shape. Was he a villain? Yes, his tactics were ruthless. He crushed thousands of small businesses. History cannot erase that. But he also made oil, and therefore modern civilization, cheap and reliable. He gave away more than most people ever earn. He built institutions that outlasted empires. History cannot erase that either. Whatever you think of him, one lesson is undeniable. Discipline compounded over time creates outcomes that seem impossible. He never rushed. While competitors panicked over daily prices, Rockefeller thought in decades. He said, "The man who starts out simply with the idea of getting rich won't succeed. You must have a larger ambition. And they believe it sincerely, if imperfectly, that great wealth carries great obligation." He gave not to look good, but because he believed it was the only reason God had let him keep it. He once said, "I believe the power to make money is a gift from God, to be developed and used to the best of our ability for the good of mankind." If you enjoyed this story, kindly like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Every week, we tell the stories of the people who changed the world. Who should we cover next?